Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this Wednesday morning? I know some of y'all are waking up and thinking, God, please don't do it to me, KJ. Your singing is like nails down a chalkboard. But hey, somebody's got to sound the alarm, huh? And by the way, that song has a reason. There's nothing I do without purpose, right? Sometimes that purpose leads us into areas of this and that and that and this. Y'all, we're going to talk about love, marriage, infidelity, sex, all of that stuff. And of course, y'all know this channel does have those little things on there about your audience, no kids allowed and all that. But it has a lot to do with what we've been talking about for the last couple of years. And of course, y'all all understand that OKJ dips into this and that and this and that for application purposes. We're going to talk about extramarital affairs of Lori, Chad, who else, y'all? Who else in this bunch of this cultish rabble? Melanie Gibb and David Warwick. You got Melanie Pulowski. She gets her divorce, but she's hopping right into something else. I mean, when I think about Lindsay Blake talking about sex, money, and power, where does any of that fit into that, if that makes sense? Like sex. Well, yeah, sex fits into extramarital affairs. Money, yeah, it does too. And power. What kind of power are we talking about here? When someone gets into a extramarital affair, what does it make Chad feel like he can, get one up? Or, does Lori feel like she's the goddess? Or what is this, But to get from one point to the other, first let me just say good morning to Fancy Nancy, Janelle Murphy, Mary Seidler, Lena Howery, Mary Seidler, Mary Stone, Timothy Suragulov. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Timothy. Stephanie Willa and Edie Ruth and JoJo and Beach Lady and Elba Lopez. And for all of you hopping on, good morning, good day, or good evening. But let's get back to it, because OKJ's been thinking about this since yesterday. Believe it or not, some of y'all are like, KJ, where do you come up with all this stuff? Well, when something hits me, I immediately go and start researching it, or I'll pull stuff from what I've already researched, and I put it together. Discombobulated, I'm sure, but I do the best I know how. Yesterday, Jennifer Crumbley was found guilty on involuntary manslaughter. 4 counts of it. That's 15 years for each count. She's got her sentencing coming up April 9th. And I want to get back to this whole idea of extramarital affairs, because she had one. She says in her testimony on direct examination from her attorney, she says, I have asked myself if I would have done anything differently. I wouldn't have. I wish he would have killed us instead. Talking about her son, Ethan. Well, first of all, I don't think at any time during the crucial, year, that whole situation leading up to what Ethan Crumbley did, I don't think she was thinking about him at all. These are just my opinions. And to top it all off, I think she said, I wished he'd have killed us instead of the children there at the high school. I think that was to place sympathy on the jury. Because when I look at all the evidence that was entered into that case, there was no, after Ethan was arrested, the text messages between her and her lover and all this and that, she puts the blame squarely on the school. Ethan's a good kid. All this, she doesn't say, it's nothing like you even get that aura that she feels like, well, I wish my son would have killed us instead of those children. So the state there in Michigan cross-examined her, and as some of y'all know, the affair wasn't going to come into evidence. It wasn't until what happened. Her defense attorney, Mrs. Smith there, she opened that door, and she even said in open court, when they were fighting over all of that, she said, we don't care. People have affairs all the time. Now, here's the question, and let's relate this to Lori and Chad, okay? Does having an extramarital affair, does that mean that, I guess the question would be, Lori having an extramarital affair, did that help move forward the murderous spree? I think we can all answer that. When she got into this affair, you think about Tylee and JJ, wondering if JJ and Tylee knew that Lori was having this affair. Whether Charles said anything to him or not, I don't know. And for those that say, well, JJ was autistic on the spectrum, Lord knows, y'all, the little guy, he saw things. And I'm sure somewhere, if for nothing else, Tylee had to have known, right? And then I got to thinking about Jennifer Crumbley and the fact that the state of Michigan there was trying to bring out her time and efforts toward developing that extramarital affair with that firefighter. Could have been energy that she could have used toward helping her son, Ethan. And then I thought, because everything, y'all, I see through this lens of this case that we've been following, Lori and Chad, and I'm like, okay, what time and energies did Lori spend developing a relationship with that damn asshole, right? When she should have been obviously she should have been taking care of her autistic son who needed that extra help and care. But of course we all know that Lori, she basically hired babysitters or got Tylee to take care of the situation, or she put JJ in his special school, which any parent would put their special needs kid in school. But what I'm trying to say is, from what I looked at, and I'm sure many of y'all can agree, she pushed her responsibility off. And this, y'all, this lines up so much with her beginning her relationship with Chad Daybell. For those that have followed the Jennifer Crumbley trial there, the prosecution did ask her while she was on the stand, well, the stuff about your son, who he started sending these text messages about devils and bowls flying through the air and shit flying off the shelves and all that. This was around the time you started your relationship with this firefighter. And she says on the stand, yes. So I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, I mean, I'm done with the hussy. I mean, I could go down this whole laundry list of everything that I observed that's in evidence, that is factual, no opinion. These are facts, her actions and all of this, that shows she was more involved energy-wise. And we're not talking about that stupid-ass energy work. We're talking about just her behavior, her actions and all of that. When she got with Chad Daybell initially, meeting him in St. George there on, everything changed. Everything. And that included her parenting. Her parenting of JJ and Tylee. And instead of going off down this other road where perhaps maybe down the road we could talk about how this could have possibly affected JJ and Tylee with her having an affair, the bottom line is not me, not you, or anyone else can really say we know how to perfectly parent. Or, you know, some of y'all, I know Maria P. don't have kids. I know there's others probably that don't have children. But for the most part, demographically speaking, here on KJ and the Ray, there are a lot of experienced mothers, grandmothers on here. Obviously, we all want to say that having an extramarital affair is wrong. You shouldn't do it. It's selfish. Get the hell away from your spouse. Divorce them. Whatever. Don't put your freaking family through that shit, right? But it doesn't always happen like that. So when Jennifer Crumbley says in her testimony that she was a hypervigilant parent and that she was a helicopter parent, you have to lay that up against with her actions. And as I speak of these things, think about Lori and Chad and the energy it took for them to get into their extramarital affair. A helicopter parent is often referred to as the over part in overparenting. It involves excessive levels of involvement and control by parents in their children's lives. A motivation for this parenting style is driven by the parents' worry that their child might come to harm or not flourish. While the intention behind helicopter parenting is usually good to keep children safe and help them succeed, the reality is that it can often do more harm than good. Studies have shown that helicopter parents are more likely to have children who suffer from anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. And so Jennifer Crumbley was said before, she talked about it on the stand, that she was considered a helicopter parent. What the hell? A helicopter parent that's hovering over their child all the time? It seems to me she was hovering in that damn car in the Costco parking lot, probably giving dude a head job every freaking day of the week. She would meet him in hotels and do all this. Is that hovering over your damn child? I don't think so. She depicted herself as having one extramarital affair for a 6-month period of time where she met this firefighter once a week. That was her testimony, says Assistant Prosecutor Mark Keast. Asking Crumbley, it was you and Mr. Maloche arranging for other individuals to meet after work as well. And she's responded, I only met with Brian during work hours. The times we were at the hotel, I was on business. We did arrange for other people to meet us there. Y'all, we're talking about threesomes. And you know what? Hey, you know what? What people do in their own life's their own damn business. But for this woman to come into court and say she was a hypervigilant parent and a helicopter parent, I'm going to tell you what. Having an extramarital affair, I think all of us know, common sense. That takes a little time and effort. Okay? Not to mention the time and effort is to allow another person to be involved in it, humping and grinding and doing all the things they do. So it isn't about me sitting here up on some moral thing saying you shouldn't have an extramarital affair and you shouldn't do threesomes, although I have my personal views and I think it's immoral. The bottom line is it takes time and effort, and it took Lori and Chad effort to have their affair. Even if they couldn't be together, they were on these text messages that was bared out in Lori's trial, talking crap all the time. Chad saying, I'm laying in bed thinking about all these things that I want to do to you. Give me a break. Where were the children and their care and all of that? And some would say, well, KJ, was Lori? Was she a helicopter parent? Was she hypervigilant? Well, she sure as hell wasn't, because she took off for 58 days. That ain't damn being no good-ass parent. Janelle Murphy says, I think she was trying to depict herself as a great mother by claiming to be a helicopter mother. Well, that's a great point, Janelle. Well, how about this? Lori tried to depict herself in her stupid-ass sentencing statement there. How she'd been through all this, and she comes up with all this new stuff that no one's ever heard about how, she almost died in a hospital, and how she knew as a parent, Tylee and JJ better than anyone else. And then you've got this other situation where we know good and damn well the people that we want to believe are people like Cresha and Kay and Larry and them. They all say at one time Lori was an excellent mother. So this goes back again, and I think we all know this, but I guess I'm just trying to reemphasize it, that she really started going off the deep end when she got into that extramarital affair with Chad Daybell. And, you would say, well, KJ, are you saying that Jennifer Crumbley was a good parent, like everyone said Lori was years ago to Ethan? But then when she got in this affair with the firefighter there, that shit went downhill? That's up for you to decide. I know that there were Facebook pictures all over the place in Jennifer Crumbley's trial showing shots of her son and them doing camping trips and doing all these things. Looked about as normal as American can be. Looked like that they really took the time to do things with Ethan and all that. But I guess really another question would be this. Where are all the family photos? Where are all the family photos of Lori and the kids? And, we know there was some of Charles and Lori and the kids. Don't get me wrong. And there was some even before that with Joseph Ryan. But where were they? During the holidays after Lori met Chad. How many times have we said, well, how could they not be focused on Thanksgiving of 2019 of families that normally all get together? Summer and all of them getting together at a Thanksgiving dinner. Janice, all of them. Nobody's asking where these kids are. And then, of course, you got Chad and Lori taking off and during the Christmas holidays. What? Summer and Janice and the rest over there? They just thought the kids were off in a bunker and then that's how they were going to spend their Christmas? Rachel Black says she made herself the victim and martyr in her sentencing. That's the calling card of a narcissist. Well, I'm screwed if photos are needed. I hate cameras. Take pictures of everyone but myself. Well, that's a good point, JoJo. All I'm saying is if Jennifer Crumbley's defense is showing all of these photos, then you've got to ask that question. And this is just through application. I'm not saying that Lori and Chad and Jennifer Crumbley and this firefighter, they are just absolutely, lined up completely. And everybody does not only their personal relationships different. Some people have open marriages. I mean, how does that affect the kids? I don't know. Maybe they're able to lie about it and the kids never find out, which I think most of us know that no matter what the age group of children growing up, they know a hell of a lot more than the parents trying to keep from them. But what you're saying, JoJo, is there's no pictures. Does that mean that I didn't have a good situation going on in my life? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that Lori and Chad, absolutely, their extramarital affair not only helped fuel the fire of the murder that was going to happen, but it also was a red flag, a big indicator for anyone to say in Lori's family, like Summer and Adam and all of them, or Chad's family, to not realize, we're like, oh, did Tammy really know? Did Tammy? We will never know. All we know is that Charles sent Tammy an email and all this and that. But there were people environmentally around this situation. Lots of people had to know that Chad and Lori, at least a suspicion anyway. We're not talking about the inner circle of the cult that damn well knew that Chad and Lori were humping, okay? We're talking about people, y'all, Melanie Gibb and all, a lot of them were still going to church. These people knew what was going on. Just as we've talked about how, Jody Hillebrand, how she operated for years. They're coming out of the woodwork now saying, I was her client and she ruined my this or that. She ruined my psyche, whatever. This stuff was already, I mean, it's not like it's just been hidden all this time. People understood what was going on. Right, Janelle Murphy. Good point there. Sad point. The last picture was of JJ by himself before he died. Obviously, we know that Chad and Lori did not see themselves as having Tylee and JJ in their new messed up marriage. But Chad's kids, I mean, let's look at the other side of that. Did they know? I mean, did they know the affair was going on? And even if they didn't, Chad was spending, I mean, so much time trying to develop, even if it was through text message, even if Lori was in another state. The fact remains is it just backs up that whole deal that Tammy was the one, the breadwinner, keeping everything going in the household, which led up on Chad, who should have been a man, to be able to do what he wanted to do. I mean, you know, what is his creative authorship? He's gotta go write at BYU for a couple hours, which he didn't actually. This guy, he absolutely owed it all to his wife. And we could go down this road of how much of a jerk he is or how much of a hussy she is about their extramarital affair, but we want to try to go in now with this hyper-vigilant parent. I don't think Chad Daybell was. I don't think that he was a helicopter parent, although I will say this, it has been my observation, and it's not abnormal, whenever you have parents that believe in whatever beliefs, they want to teach that, bring your child up in the way of the Lord and they will never depart. It just seems to me, observation-wise, and what I've seen so far in this particular situation, that it is, it's fanatical in a lot of areas. I mean, look at that Jessie girl of Jody Hillebrandt's, how the way she was treated, and others, what they do to them to basically force them into beliefs that maybe, you know, when they become adults, they might change their mind about, or maybe it will take. Who knows? So, anyway, y'all know I'm a scatterbrain when it comes to what I'm trying to talk about, but a child who discovers that their parent is cheating may experience a range of emotions, including confusion, betrayal, anger, sadness, and even guilt. They might struggle to understand the complexities of adult relationships and might fear the potential changes in their family dynamic. And I don't know if Ethan Crumbley knew. I know that this firefighter said on the stand that he'd met Ethan before. Perhaps Jennifer introduced this firefighter guy to Ethan and said he's just a high school friend, and maybe Ethan didn't know they were having a sexual relationship. I guess another question would be, how in the hell does James Crumbley not know that his wife's getting it on with this firefighter? I mean, y'all, I don't think that people that have been together, and they were together several years, I don't see how you can't see the signs of that unless you're just living in denial. And Charles Vallow, he was not the jealous type, but he knew something was going on. He was that articulate, that smart, that observant of his wife. He loved his wife, thought he knew his wife. Janelle says not to excuse cheating, but even in divorce, children experience those emotions. That's true, Janelle. And if you think about it, what would have happened, and I'm not meaning this to armchair quarterback, but what if Lord had just divorced Charles and moved on? She'd already put Tylee through a divorce with her father. And basically, in my opinion, I guess groomed or brainwashed Tylee into believing something bad had happened to her. And by the way, what about Kobe? I mean, he had to go through that. He was a little older. He himself said he was abused. He has to go through that. Then he goes through the death of Charles Vallow. But what if Charles would have stayed alive and Lori would have just divorced him? That would have been 2 times that Tylee would have had to go through that. What was that teaching Tylee? And how can Lori say that I am a good parent, I'm hypervigilant, I'm a helicopter parent, if the act in and of itself of extramarital affair takes time and energy away from the responsibilities of being a parent? Charles was wasting his energy trying to keep Lori and save his marriage, and any good man would. Some people say, well, KJ, a good man wouldn't put up with that shit and he'd knock her out the door. Well, he filed for divorce. But if there was going to be any hope at all, Charles Vallow was going to save that marriage, because it wasn't just his love for Lori. It was his love for his family that he was trying to hold on to. We all know this. JoJo said it was teaching Tylee nothing good. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, I mean, who am I or anyone else to really say this is how you should parent? I'm not saying that it's acceptable in as far as me being a parent, that it would be okay. It would eventually become healthy if it was unhealthy because there was an affair in there. But I am saying that no good can come of it. Really, I mean, if it takes an affair to break up an already toxic marriage, I don't think it was a toxic marriage between Charles and Lori. I think Lori was toxic anyway, but I think she was just slowly going through her midlife crisis. I think the only stability and anchor that Lori had was Charles Vallow and his love for her. And do I really need to go on about Chad Daybell and Tammy? I mean, this man had everything to lose. He had a beautiful wife. He had all his children. There was nothing wrong in his marriage other than what? She just wasn't as exciting for him anymore. She wasn't young and vivacious like Elena. I mean, all he was thinking about was with his Johnson, his little itty bitty freaking gherkin, his little Vienna sausage, his little cocktail weenie. So the parenting styles does matter, because a parenting style can, really translate into how these parents out here in the world, I'm not judging, I'm just saying psychology, at least on a collegiate level, really comes down to 4 parenting styles. And I'm sure just as there are linear thinkers and global learners, that some of that can be interchanged. It ain't cut and dry. You're one of these 4. You're not a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but these are the 4 basic groups. There's the permissive parenting style, where it is child-driven, meaning the child is the parent, basically, or the child is the one that really has more say-so. The parent basically lets the child run the freaking household. Permissive meaning rarely gives or enforces rules. These parents do not want to give or enforce rules. They might give them and then back off of them, just as Jennifer Crumbley said the night before he killed all these kids, that Ethan's phone was taken away, but the prosecution said just that same evening he was in the backyard in a shed on his phone, which for her to say his phone was taken away was a crock of shit. Permissive meaning overindulges child to avoid conflict. Overindulges the child to avoid conflict. So let's go back to it. Child-driven. Did Tylee and JJ, were they driving what Lori did? I don't think so. I don't at all. I think Tylee was the big person in the room, but Tylee didn't boss her mother around, or from what I see. Now, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And all this rarely gives or enforces rules. Well, I mean, I don't know, y'all. That would be something that I would really have to research. Did Lori have these rules in place that Tylee and JJ had to abide by? It would seem to me with JJ being special needs, she had to be very careful and patient with laying down those rules and guidelines because, it wouldn't be he would break a rule because he just was wanting to break the rules. So, one of the parenting styles is permissive. Then you've got neglectful, okay? And again, let's keep Lori and Chad, which, by the way, Chad, none of his children ran the show. None of his children, from what I see, and y'all know it's limited, I don't think that there were no rules set up in Chad Daybell's household. And it's my opinion that Tammy ran the show. Tammy probably set the home rules. Maybe Chad did because he wanted everybody to think that he had hair on his balls. But the bottom line is I don't see that. I don't see that Chad or Tammy were permissive parents. I don't know about Lori on some of it. But let's get to neglectful, and let's keep Chad and Lori in mind. A parenting style that is neglectful is uninvolved or absent from your child's life. And make no mistake, Lori, for every chance she could get after they murdered Charles, she went on to Idaho, even before she went on to Idaho, because she was there about a month in Arizona before she moved to Idaho. The bottom line is every chance she could get, either Tylee was taking care of JJ or she would go and get someone to watch them or whatever. She takes off for 58 days. She was absent. She is the poster child for an absent parent during a very crucial time. I mean, Charles and Lori were split up. The children were like, what's going on? Lori should have been there to I guess, keep those children stable in their own hearts about, well, yeah, there's problems between, my dad and mom here, but, one of them's going to keep us, glued and together. Charles was the only one that done that. Charles was the only one that, when he took over taking care of JJ, he tried to keep him as stable as he could. Being a neglectful parenting style provides little nurturance or guidance. What is nurturing and a parent giving guidance about Lori wanting to spread her legs and have an affair with that damn asshole? And what is nurturing and guidance filled by Chad Daybell, who, for the first time in many, many years, wanted to get his rocks off because he could finally get it up. The bottom line is there was nothing at all nurturing or guidance filled by having that extramarital affair. That is common sense. Then you've got indifferent to child's social and emotional and behavioral needs. This, my friends, is exactly neglectful that Lori was. Let's just be clear. Chad's children were basically adults or almost there. I think Garth was, 16, 17? If you want to say, well, KJ, Tylee was 16 too, and all this and that. The bottom line is that Lori was indifferent to the social and emotional feelings of her children to do what she did. Y'all, it'd be different if somebody got into an extramarital affair because their marriage was just toxic and terrible and they were just wanting to get away from their spouse and they really were thoughtful and thought, I've got to do this in a way that where I can shield my kids. Y'all, I can't get out of my head how selfish it is, but I'm just trying to look at it from a point of view that there are people out here in the world that do have extramarital affairs that don't mean to harm anybody. And they're not in their own heart and their motive for it. They're not being selfish in their own view. And maybe that's a sense of denial. But this is not what we have with the hussy and the asshole. Okay? This is not what we have. So, according to these parenting styles, you got the permissive, you got the neglectful, then you've got the authoritative. style, which solves problems together with the child. Well, what problems did Lori and Chad have with their children? There was only one problem that Lori and Chad had with their children, and that is their children were in the way. Well, maybe Chad not so much because his children were older and all of that, but solving problems with the child? No, the children were the problem to Lori. Okay? So, but anyway, it sets clear rules and expectations. Did Lori set clear rules and expectations? And if she did, how in the hell can any child, I don't care what their age, how can they respect that, follow through on those expectations when they see that parent setting those rules and then going out here and acting like a damn idiot? It had to be, if they did listen to the parent, it's because they loved them. JJ and Tylee wanted to follow the rules because they wanted to make sure that their mother loved them. Authoritative parenting style, open communication and natural consequences. Was there any open communication with Tylee and JJ from Lori? No. She lied. And even if the children didn't know she was lying and they thought it was the truth, the bottom line is whatever comes out of the mouth, y'all, defiles a person. And if it defiles a person, then you've got other people looking at that defiled person, i.e. children, and they're having to take in those lies, even if they don't know they're lies. And that does not help a child whatsoever. And by the way, we all know that children instinctively, they know when something's up. They know when something's up. And finally, you got the authoritarian. There's the authoritative, but here's the authoritarian. It's parent-driven, sets strict rules and punishments, one-way communication with little consideration of the child's social, emotional, and behavioral needs. Well, Lori always. It was always about Lori wanting to call the shots. Chad, I'm sure, with his upbringing and the way that he was supposed to be, him being one of those people that could see beyond the veil, that get these personal revelations and all this crap. It was either their way or the highway, right? Hello, Mary Bono. And if anybody wants to join in on this channel, first of all, this channel is not a show. These are a bunch of people that are getting together that have been together for 3 or 4 years. If you want to take out your anxiety or the fact that you feel like you have a shitty life or something like that, if you just are feeling bad, don't take it out in the comments. It doesn't do anything to help you at all. And I'm only reacting this one time because I'm just telling you, all you're doing is wasting your time. That's all you're doing. And if your time is not important, and if the time that you're using is to be negative and shitty to other people, you might want to check yourself, okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. How could Melanie leave him there? She knew and just left, says JoJo. Oh, great point, Janelle. Their children reminded Lori and Chad of their responsibility. They did. They had a parental responsibility. How they worked it out, whether they were, whatever their parenting style is, whether or not, they had any kind of healthiness in their children at all, you put that up against the extramarital affair. Who knows? Who knows? Jay's Photography says, I do have a shitty life. I'm listening to you right now. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Jay. Why don't you do yourself a favor and try to look past your own, being inside yourself, and perhaps you'll see that there are people out here that do have differing views, differing opinions. The biggest lesson I've learned in my life is I can't assume. that I understand other people, or that other people can understand me. That's, if I can put that aside and understand that everyone deserves honor and respect, even if they disagree. It's how they disagree that really it comes down to that. So if you're having a shitty life, Jay, I just want you to know that there have been times in my life and many people on here that's had shitty shit happen to us, okay? And there are days that I don't want to get up. And there are days that I'm depressed, especially during the winter, seasonal depression, right? And, you know, hey, you're not alone. Even if you don't want to look at it that way, that's your own business. I understand you have your own eyes. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But please, just understand that everyone is who they are. OKJ's a big proponent of you. You are the only you're ever going to be. You can't be somebody else. Thank you, Lena. Juniper's Tarot and Astrology says, nobody's life is perfect. God made us perfectly imperfect for a reason. Bad things happen to good people. And that's correct, Juniper's. Sandra Lavalle says, good morning, KJ. Chad did not want Lori's kids. Chad's kids can't believe their dad could do these murders. It is hard for them. I think Charles was a good man, and Charles tried to stop it all. I agree with that. I absolutely agree. But even if I didn't agree, again, everyone on here has a right to feel and believe the way they want to feel and believe. And if it's all about feeling and believing that you have to personally attack somebody, then, you know, what I'm saying is that that's still, I mean, what is it? You know, I feel like it's the end of the world, right? Well, it's not the end of the world, but you feel that way, and you have a right to feel the way you want to feel, right? Kama Lakar says, please pray for me. I'm suffering with fourth stage colon cancer. Well, we'll pray for you. I apologize that I can't say your name. It's Kama Lakar. Please know that, you know, that's, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that other than I have compassion in my heart for you. And I will pray for you. And some people on here don't pray, but they do think of others. So other people on this channel, if you want to please pray or just think kind thoughts for Kamala Carr, I'd appreciate that. I know you would. Chelsea Myers says, you are not speaking facts. Well, I'll tell you what, Chelsea Myers. I never said anything on my bio or anything that I'm here to speak all facts, right? But there is a such thing as truth, logic, common sense, your gut feeling, and just a little psychoanalysis. And I have a right to be on here to express my opinions, just as you now said your opinion. Because guess what? When you say you're not speaking facts, that's true. 100% I'm not speaking facts. Some of it is opinion. But your opinion that I'm not speaking facts, the bottom line is that's your opinion. Just as I have an opinion, right? Does that make sense to you? Or are you on here just to be whatever you're being? I mean, what is it? What's wrong? What's wrong that you've got to say things like that? You could say anything you want to say, but that's what you're going to say. Think about that. Maybe sometime today or next Look, somebody called in. Jay's photography, you're so freaking funny. Well, you hang around a little while, Jay's. OKJ has a Carol Burnett streak. Me and my hubby, Mr. Wayne, we love to put on little skits and things of that sort. We do a lot of different things. We do love to see people smile. And we do, but we also talk about serious things as well. Ashley LeShin says, I have a brain. She's crazy yapping about nothing. Well, you know what, Ashley? The bottom line is that what you think is nothing is something to somebody else. And really, the bottom line is this. How would you know? How would you know that I'm yapping about nothing unless you know what that is? Maybe, perhaps, you've yapped yourself? Give me a break. Yeah, Lena and Donna, Donald, and Fancy Nancy, y'all, these people come on here because they're bored with their lives. They don't like themselves, right? They don't. And so they're getting a reaction, right? That's what they want because they don't feel significant at all. They've got some serious issues that I hope they will get resolved sometime in their life. Maybe they get up every day and they go on these live streams of people they don't even know. They just troll around just so they can get their own juices going, their own rocks off, whatever it is. It's sick, it's sad, and it's really actually a representation of how lonely, insecure these people really are. It's on display when they do these things, right? Thank you, Marta. I appreciate it. Carrie Ann, we've all been in this world, inside of a world for some time, right? I figured out, in my view, that it would be real easy to ignore it. But the reason that I would even bring attention and react to it is because I actually do, in my heart of hearts, care. But it hurts me to have to go against people that, I'm never going to meet them, and they wouldn't have enough balls to say these things in my face physically. If they think they would, they probably would, it would not be a good situation face to face. Yeah, right. VixTech says, prayers for all out there. That's really what's needed, huh, VixTech? CSI Crowdsource Illumination says it's a weird thing to just randomly harass people. Yeah, it is weird. It's really kind of interesting, though, don't you think? It's almost like a demonstration of some of the situations going out here in the world and how people are feeling deep in their heart. It's almost like, hey, you can actually look past what they're saying. See, they want you to react from the personal attacks, but you look past that to say, why would somebody say these things? And what they must be feeling inside, right? For the trolls on here, says Juniper's tarot and astrology. We support KJ and the Ray because she supports Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research and the innocent children that were taken away from this world too soon. We're talking about children. No need to troll. Well, thank you so much, Juniper. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know, Donna Donald. Ashley LeShin says no one actually cares. Well, Ashley, I don't know how you would know everybody. Well, you say no one. So are you saying everybody don't care or just you don't care? Because you can't get into my mind and heart or anyone on this channel to say that. So if you want to make this blanket, basically stupid statement that no one cares, the only one that doesn't care is you because you're saying it. You don't know what other people think and feel. Get over yourself. Get on with your life. Chase Photography says, no one cares, no one cares, no one cares, no one cares. All the trolls, let's start a chat. No one cares. Yeah, that's really going to get us somewhere, huh? Somebody say, let's chat, but no one cares. Yeah, peace, peace, says Donald. Oh, Lord. Baker GBYT says, my muffin looks awfully like a hamster. Someone baked a hamster in my muffin. Big Stack says the only way to win is not to play the game. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Chelsea is going to ask, I'm going to be nice as for one time, who is going to win the 49ers or the Chiefs? Well, Chelsea, I don't like either one of those teams, and I'm not going to be watching the Super Bowl because my team didn't get in, and I won't even share that with you. But if I have to make a guess, I would say the 49ers. I don't like Kansas City at all. I don't like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid going on the State Farm commercials, making money out of their ass. They're spending more time on the commercials than they are coaching the freaking team or playing on the team. It's ridiculous. And this Taylor Swift stuff, give me a break, y'all. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Hi, Susan Honecker. Oh, Everly Montgomery has got a birthday. Hello, Everly. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a good birthday. I hope your day is special and filled with lots of love. Right, Sandra Lavalle. Jay's Photography says, what is that goofy laugh? It's called a feeling that OKJ gets. See, there's never going to be another one of me, just like there's never going to be another one of you. And I don't know how you laugh, but I love my goofy laugh. I love being who I am. And if people want to be out here making fun of who I am, get in line and take a number, buddy. Because everybody gets made fun of at some point. I've got a thick skin. I'm sure you've got a thick skin. The bottom line is I'm thankful that I can even laugh, considering the state of this world today and the fact that I am absolutely always going to do everything in my power to find humor in this life. A feeling, a deep, abiding feeling of laughter that comes out. It's called joy, and I hope you have it. Awesome Sassy Saw says, hello, beautiful KJ and the Rays. Ignore those who have no intellectual reasoning with the cases you dive into. I understand that. I understand that. And I guess I better get back on track. So what OKJ wanted to bring up today is that I don't have a right, no one really has a right to tell someone else how to parent. But if you relate it to the case that we've been studying for 3 or 4 years now, the bottom line is that there was an extramarital affair. Could that extramarital affair, could it have produced any kind of healthiness at all? We've seen it in action. We know it didn't. In fact, it's an extreme version of what happens when you don't put your children first, whether it's, I mean, do y'all realize that through all this, while Lori and Chad were role-playing about being the king and queen of the 144,000, that there was never any roles assigned to JJ and Tylee other than follow Amy in the light, or, Hillary, or whatever. It was all about their role. JJ and Tylee's role was murder. They were going to murder those children. It was never anything positive. Forget the fact that for a long time, JJ was considered light on the scale of Chad and Lori's bullshit, right? But then again, the reason they absolutely made Tylee look dark all at times, because Lori knew damn well what she already did to her daughter before Chad even came into the picture. Lori ruined her own daughter by lying to her about being sexually molested and all this other stuff. So the bottom line is Lori didn't see any redeeming, futuristic plans for her children at all. What is it? Let's see. I'm trying to skip over all these unrelated comments. And again, Fancy Nancy, Donna Donald, any of y'all that so choose to do it, please just report them. You report them twice, they'll get knocked off. Then if they go to create a little ghost deal, it's all tied to their account, and then they'll get kicked off of YouTube. Just watch and see. Hello, Harley62. Oh, yeah. Oh, Maria P says, I've been fighting COVID for a week now. Maria, I hope you get to feeling better. Right, Fancy Nancy. I look at it like this. I don't know. I mean, I set this channel on public, and I just have to trust that something is going to happen good, one way or the other, even if bad is coming into the situation. I understand, I understand, this whole world inside of a world and how people, they do what they do. The bottom line is this. When people go out here and personally attack other people, think about what that does to them. They think it makes them feel good, right? Just makes them feel worse about themselves. And that's so unfortunate, because they could take those negative attacks and turn it around and say something nice. They would start to figure out that it would make them feel better. But that's not what they're going to do. They want to stay miserable. They want to stay in a hurting stage, whether it's mental or emotional. Or maybe they've even got physical ailments that's making them feel this way. I don't know. All I do know is no matter what anybody says, the bottom line is love conquers all, no matter what. And I appreciate that, CSI Crowdsource Illuminations. I appreciate that. We haven't had many problems of this type before. So, and I don't really consider them problems. It's really kind of useless, right? It doesn't do anything to advance justice through understanding at all, does it? But maybe it does. Maybe justice has to do with the whole collective. And the whole collective can't be everyone thinking the same way or feeling the same way. There are people in that whole collective that's got, they're hurt, or they've got a life that they're not happy with, or maybe they think that attacking others makes them feel more powerful. Kind of sounds a lot like the way that Lori and Chad were toward people. Rating people light and dark and all this and that, making them feel like they were the ones that could tell others who they were when they didn't even know them. They didn't even know them. So, Anyway, I love you all, and I appreciate that, Lena and Harley62. Is it just me? The comment section is all dark. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. But here's some good news. As many of y'all know, when it comes to Coffee with KJ, the bottom line is I come to y'all when I can come to you. It's usually around this time that I let y'all go for the day. This isn't me getting off here because some people want to come on here to be miserable in their own heart. So I am going to let y'all go. The summary of what we were talking about basically is that, you know, everybody has a personal responsibility to themselves, to nurture themselves, to do things that's going to help them for one reason, and that is to be kind and loving to others. If things that we are doing to ourselves, when Jennifer Crumbley was having an affair, when Lori and Chad were having an affair, was that going to advance any goodness in this world? I mean, we've got enough hatred and anger and depression and all of that in this world. Is there not any kind of personal responsibility where a person can actually, if it's in here and they just don't feel nothing in here, maybe in their mind, you know what? Maybe if I say nice things, I'll start feeling a little bit better about myself. But if I continue to attack other people, what am I getting out of that? What is someone getting out of being hateful or attacking other people? Because if that's what you want in this life, because it would really be, it equals it. You're not getting anything healthy or nurturing by attacking other people. I guess you just have self-destructive behavior. And that needs some help there, because every human being has a heart, and every human being is a child of God, whether you believe in him or not. So I hope you will seek the help that you're needing. I'm not here to judge you. All I'm saying is when you speak out of your mouth and say mean things to people that you don't even, what is the reason you're on this channel in the first place, right? Is it to spread that negativity? Is that what you're about? Is that who you want to be? Really? Is that who you want to be? Because if that's all you're producing, I can understand why you're attacking everyone. Make no mistake, you can produce a lot of love, joy, hope, peace in this world. You're capable of that. Are you choosing to do the opposite of that? Is that what you're doing? I hope you'll think long and hard of what I'm saying. Because you know what? I'm just an old country girl from Tennessee. I'll be 53 years old. There's nothing special about me whatsoever. What is special is whatever I do, I need to do it for the benefit of other people. Because if it's all about making myself feel better, it won't get nowhere in this life for me. I don't know about you, but it won't do it for me. I love you all, the Rays. Obviously, this Coffee with KJ went a little different. I always believe things happen for a reason. And with that said, I hope y'all have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank y'all for being patient. I did get knocked off balance. Congratulations to all of you that came on here to troll. You got old KJ knocked off balance. But I did come back. I did come back to speak some truth. God is love. Seek God and you'll know what it's all about. So with that said, y'all, we'll get back together on Friday and keep on looking.